Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing good. This is a weekly market update live stream. If you are new to my YouTube channel, please make sure to subscribe to it. Please make sure to like the live stream. And if you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘁𝗶𝗵𝗵, this is my Twitter handle. I occasionally post market updates and calls over my Twitter account as well. If you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can always join in the Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video. In fact, all of the links you would find in the description of this video. Most of you have been asking about the links for the partner exchanges as well. We are partnered with BLOFIN and BITUNIX. These two are the only exchanges we promote, and these two are the only exchanges we recommend using, obviously not the other exchanges. So yeah, if you would want to register with any of these two exchanges, the links you can find in the description of this video. And more importantly, if you would like to have a 15-day free access to Foxian, you can always use these links. All you have to do is simply just register on one of these two partner exchanges, BLOFIN or BITUNIX, and deposit $100 or more into your trading account, and send us your UID, send us your screenshot, and you would automatically be granted access to the Discord server free, premium for 15 days for all of you. All right, so please make sure to check out that as well. All right, so let's start the stream. The first chart that we are going to take a look at, it's the USDT dominance chart, right? And by the way, we have a few open positions. Some of these positions already have limits placed. One or two positions we are already in. I just opened a long position on FIOUSDT like a few hours ago. This one just gave a small almost 5%, 6% move, but I have not done anything with this one. Although this move, it was like a really important one because price got rejected at the anchored VWAP first of all, and secondly, if you would take a look at the Bitcoin chart, if you would take a look at if you would compare this chart with the Bitcoin chart, you would notice that there was a substantial resistance at this level where price got rejected at. So obviously, we would have to wait a little bit for to see price move in the original direction, which in my opinion is going to be upside because we have seen a small change of character and breakout structure. And you can see that if you would draw the fib levels in this situation from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, price is perfectly bouncing at 61%, 65% fib level. And on top of that, we have 1-day 12-period exponential moving average also. This is 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. You can see that it's acting as a good support level, which means FIOUSDT, it's looking good. And this is the resistance that I was talking about. If you would plot this chart against Bitcoin, you can see that although we are sitting at support, although we did bounce at the 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, but at the same time, we had a wick all the way up to this resistance level. So this is a strong resistance that FIOUSDT needs to get past in order to have a substantial move in this direction. So this is the long position that I have open, and you can see that it's essentially just a shit coin. I'm not saying that it's a good coin, it's just a shit coin. But if you would take a look at the BLOFIN top gainers, you would find almost all of these different shit coins going, mostly the small market cap coins. Most of these coins have market caps around like 50 to 60 million dollars, and you can see that most of these coins have gone up almost 50%, 60%. 𝗖𝗍 was one coin which went up almost 100% during the past 24 hours. And almost all of these coins are going back, are reclaiming important support levels, going back down to retest the supports. You can see that in this situation, it went down to this support level and then gave a 26% move. Same is the case with a few other of these coins as well. So yeah, this one I am also expecting. You can see that 𝗨𝘱 also. 𝗨𝘱 also, this one actually missed. This retest happened around like 5 a.m. I was sleeping at that time, so I completely missed this opportunity, but it was a very good one. You can see that price retested this 4-hour support and then it just gave a move of almost 33% so far. So the point is that most of these coins that are in top gainers, that have been in top gainers, are like super low market cap coins. And 𝗨𝗚 also has a small market cap, but the opportunity was good, and that's why I just took a long position on this one. The second one that we had, and by the way, this one we took yesterday, it went up almost 12%. It's already up almost 8 to 9%. We have taken the first TP of that position. You can see that this one looked a little bit more promising, I would say that, because in this situation, you can see that there is absolutely no resistance. If you would compare this against the Bitcoin chart, you can see that this one was looking really good. Against Bitcoin chart as well, you can see that, it was sitting at this support level. We have 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. Almost everything was looking good about this coin. If you would take a look at the chart itself, you can see that it had reclaimed this very important support level. In fact, I was looking to position into a long on this coin for the past 1 or 2 weeks, but it took some time for price to drop back down to this support level, right? And it took some time for price to get back above this level. It continued to consolidate around here. I was initially planning to place the limit order, but then I decided let's just wait for the reaction, and that was a very good decision because price eventually went under this level, then came back up. And that was a good reaction overall. It had this small trend line breakout as well. But overall in this situation also, since many of you are always asking me that, what is the procedure that you follow, or what are the steps that you follow whenever you are charting a coin? These are the few things that I'm always looking at. For example, if I have the chart for ASR USDT in front of me, the first thing that I would do is to draw the SR levels. In this situation, you can see that even if you are a complete beginner, you would easily be able to draw a nice support around here. You can see that on the daily time frame chart, on the 4-hour, this is definitely looking like a consolidation. It definitely looks like price went under this level, but on the daily time frame chart, you would notice that this was a very small move. And the next thing is you would draw this 4-hour support, and you can see that price was supposed to retest this support. And if you have been watching some of my previous updates and live stream, you would know this famous sentence that the first retest, that is always your single best opportunity to get into a long or a short position. So in this case, because it was a first retest, so that was a really good opportunity. Second Pratt is asking, can I enter 𝗨𝗚 here or should I wait for entry? Second Pratt, you are already in the Discord server, you are already in the premium Discord, right? So I don't exactly know why you did not enter into this position, because it just revisited the entry almost 2 to 3 times. So yeah, if you're not in this position, you can just take that one. I'm hopeful that this one would give us a nice move. Obviously, it's going to consolidate for some time, but yeah, this one is looking good. Price is sitting at the 4-hour support, sitting at 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, and has a nice 65% fib level support as well. So I was talking about ASR. You can see that in this situation, you have a nice 4-hour support, daily time frame support, you can also call it. And then, if you would draw the volume profile, you would notice that. And by the way, why would you draw volume profile like this? Because it's very clear that, we are in an uptrend. Okay, so this is your impulsive wave, this is a corrective wave, this is an impulsive wave, this is a corrective wave. And eventually you should be getting, an impulsive wave breaking above this major swing high. This is your major swing high, this is a major swing low, which means that you have two options. Either you can draw the volume profile, which I did in this situation. This was the point of control. Price obviously did not visit the point of control precisely, but this just gives you an extra layer of support, right? And on top of that, you can always use the fib levels, draw the fib levels, start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, and you can see that how precisely price retested the 61.8%, 65% fib level. And that was a good decision to get into a long on this coin, because price at that time was just bouncing at 61.8% fib level, right? With FIO also we have a similar kind of situation, but like I said, it because price against the Bitcoin chart has some sort of resistance around here, so it would have to first clear that resistance in order to go back up to this level once again. It's gonna take some time, but it's definitely looking good. Can you check Ronin and give updates? Ronin, what's Ronin? What's the symbol for this coin? Can you please let me know the symbol for this coin? Okay. So ASR, we took a long position on this coin yesterday. FIO, we took a long on this one today. ATA, this one was also looking bullish. It went up almost 7%. We took position on this one at least 2 times. The first time it gave a 7% move. The second time also it gave a 7% move. But you can see that we have some sort of resistance around here. We have a small 4-hour resistance around here. And, if you would take a look at the historical data as well, it would take some time for price to go past this level. In this situation also, you can see that we had the first rejection, then we had the second rejection, and finally we reclaimed this level, and it provided a very good support. So in this situation also, by the way, we have stop loss move to break even for this one. I would decide if it goes back down to the entry point, I would decide if we should be getting back into this position or not. But in case it reclaims this level, that's when I would like to get into a long position on this one. This one was actually looking much better in comparison to all of these other coins that I just mentioned, because it has this falling wedge breakout pattern, right? Which was looking really good. It was looking almost very similar to PRCL. In the case of PRCL, we had almost a move of by the way, I wasn't really able to get into this coin, but whenever this retest happens, I'm definitely going into PRCL. PRCL actually gave a 42% move, and similar. The ATA chart also looked somewhat similar, so I'm just a little bit surprised that it has not given a big reaction so far. Most likely you are going to see that reaction very soon, but yeah, once we reclaim this level. But yeah, this chart is looking good. I'm confident in this one because it's also bouncing at not 61.8% fib level, but actually the 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. All right, and then we have a few spot positions open. LQTY, this spot position is still open. Price is just continuing to consolidate around our entry point. Sweet spot position, this one also we have open, and near, this is also a spot position that we have open. So DCA has not been filled on any of these 3 spot positions that I just mentioned to you. So yeah, these are the positions that we have open. And then we have limits placed on obviously a few other coins, like we have limits placed on Pengu USDT, we have one on SEI as well, and then we have on HFT as well. Okay, speaking of HFT, it reminds me of something very interesting. So HFT was trading somewhere around here, and I shared this I on my Twitter account, and like I mentioned in the very beginning also, I occasionally post market updates and calls over my Twitter account as well, especially when there are limit orders, because with limit orders you have plenty of opportunity to get into the coin, right? So I dropped this setup on my Twitter account as well. And at that time, HFT was trading somewhere around here, and I placed the limit to get into long position on HFT around this level, right? And this guy, I don't know what his name was, but he was probably from India, right? He started cursing me soon after that, because what followed was that, HFT started moving up. HFT, soon after I dropped these limits, HFT made a move of almost 70 to 80%. This guy started swearing on me, saying that you made me sell your HFT. Okay, he was not even a follower of me. He just saw a random post on his Twitter account, and he was like, you made me sell your HFT. I wish I had not seen your post. as soon as I saw your post, I thought HFT would drop back down to this support. Now, this is something that I wanted to respond to. Obviously, not because he mentioned this thing, because many people think that because I have dropped the limit for this coin, price would just straight away reverse from that point, and it would simply just drop back down to my limit order. And the reason, once again, people ask this question is because many times they would be saying that, hey, can we short this coin? Okay, as soon as I would drop the limit order, people be asking this question that, hey, can we short that coin down to your limit order? No, you cannot do that. Okay, because you are mistaken that you think just because I have dropped this limit, or just because I have dropped this limit order to buy this coin or to get into long position on this coin at this level, you are probably thinking that price is just going to immediately reverse from the current market price and it would go back down to my limit order. No, this isn't really the case. Okay, it may go up almost 70%, 80%, 90%. It may never ever come back down to my entry point. So the purpose of placing a limit order is not that price would eventually always return down to that level. I remember when Bitcoin was trading around 49,000, I placed a limit order around 43,000. Now you cannot really say that I just sold all of my Bitcoin because there was a limit order at 43,000. That was just a precautionary measure, right? I just placed a limit order at 43,000 so that if price drops back down to that level, I'm able to get into a position on Bitcoin, right? Same is the case with the current Bitcoin price levels as well. I have a limit order placed at 106.5k. And speaking of that, let's talk about Bitcoin, okay? Because first of all, we have a long limit order for Bitcoin placed at 106.5k. The DCA is at 104k. The stop loss is going to be 102.5k. Okay, we have this long limit order placed, and if you have not placed a limit order, you can do that right now. You can see that. This is going to be our entry point, 106.5k. Our DCA is exactly at the 50% of this daily fair value gap, which has not been filled. By the way, once again, there is no guarantee that price would eventually go back down and fill this fair value gap. But once again, I'm assuming that if a drop happens, you may see a quick wick down to this level, right? 104k level, and then the stop loss is simply just 102.3k. It's basically going to be manual candle close. Now, 2 or 3 things I would like to mention here, and somebody is requesting in the chat box about Ronin coin. It's a gaming coin. Yes, I would check out that coin as soon as I'm done with the Bitcoin update. Okay, so speaking of Bitcoin, first of all, we have this daily daily trend line. We have this trend line, we have this descending trend line on the daily time frame chart, right? And this trend line breakout has already happened. Price is bouncing nicely at this daily trend line. This is definitely not a failed breakout. Even if at some point in time we get a move down to 106.5k or even 104k, in my opinion, that is going to look like a huge daily candle wick, because many people are trying to get into a position or trying to find a position around these price levels. 106.5k, that's a very important level, right? If I show you the 4-hour time frame chart, then this is something that you would find out on the 4-hour time frame chart of Bitcoin, right? So, price was trading, if you guys remember, price was trading at 106.5k level, and during our last live stream, we discussed in detail that, why exactly price is most likely going to break below 106.5k level, and eventually it would go back down to the anchored VWAP, and this is exactly what happened. Now, my initial assumption was that we would go down to maybe 104k level as well, but obviously that did not happen. But we did end up retesting the anchored VWAP, and all of you would already know that anchored VWAP, that's a very, very important indicator, and that retest was a very good opportunity to get into a long position. Anchored VWAP, it has served as a very important thing, at least at 3 or 4 different occasions. Like if I just go to the 4-hour time frame chart, and let me just draw the anchored VWAP for you and show you what I'm talking about. This is anchored VWAP, right? In this situation, we can see that anchored VWAP gave you a perfect opportunity to get into long position around 105.2k, 105.3k. In the previous situation also, when this 100K drop happened, in that situation also, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 was giving multiple opportunities to get into a long position, right? This was the first retest. It did give $1,500 move. Then, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 on, this chart is going to look slightly different. That is why I'm using 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏. Many of you have asked me that why I'm using 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏. It's only because, the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 functionality on that platform is a lot more better in comparison to TradingView, right? But if you would draw it on 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, you would notice that price gave a bearish retest at both of these occasions. That is where we took our short position. That is when Trump made this tweet about Iran, saying that people of Tehran, they need to evacuate the city. Then we came back up. This was a very good shorting opportunity. That's when this Iran US drama happened. You can see that we had a drop from 106.2K down to 98.2K. Then we reclaimed this level. We bounced nicely at this level. So the point that I'm trying to make is that 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, it always gives you a perfect opportunity to find a continuation trade, right? In order to get into a continuation trade, nothing better, in my personal opinion, there is nothing better than simply just using the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏. So in this situation, if the drop happens, and 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 gives you plenty of different opportunities, obviously the first retest of 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 is going to give you the best possible opportunity. This was a very good opportunity. 106.2, 106.2K, 106.3K long, sorry, 105.2K, 105.3K long gave you a bounce all the way up to 110.4K, 110.3K level. That was almost a $4,000 price increase, which was a very good opportunity, which was a very good setup. But whenever the second retest happens, that too, in my opinion, is going to be a very good opportunity. And I'm telling you that because of this thing, many people, they are thinking that they should be getting into a long at 106K, at 106.5K level. And on top of that, if you would draw a small 4-hour support around here, and you can see that price at every single occasion has indeed reacted to this level. A bounce happened here, rejections happened here, then a small bounce happened here, then rejections happened here, then a small bounce happened here, rejections happened here, bounce happened. Now in this situation, you can see that there was this massive deviation below this support level, right? Price deviated massively below this support, then came back down to the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, and then we had a bounce from 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 all the way up to 110,000. Okay, which makes me think that uh, because we know that whenever there is a deviation below a certain support level, obviously many people, they would have seen price breaking below this support. Obviously they would have seen price breaking below 106.5K level, and they would have taken their short positions at this level. And that is when all these short positions, they're most likely going to be stuck somewhere around here. Okay, and whenever price would drop back down to this level, many of these people, almost all of these people, they would try to get out of these short positions. They would try to close their short positions break even. And we know that whenever the short positions are being closed, basically buying takes place. And then more and more people, after noticing this deviation, after noticing the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏, after noticing this 4-hour support, they would try to get into long positions. So more long positions being opened, more short positions being closed. In both the cases, buying is taking place, and this would eventually push the price back up from 106.5K. So this is the reason why I'm planning to go long at 106.5K if that retest happens. Now we cannot have the guarantee that, I don't want you to be like that HFT guy who would simply just sell all of his holdings and saying that, okay, price is going back down to 106.5K, so let's just sell everything. Okay. The second important point that I wanted to make, in fact, I would love to go long on Bitcoin. If I'm only looking at the Bitcoin chart, by the way, okay? If I'm only looking at the Bitcoin chart, and the reason why I have been so reluctant to develop a position on Bitcoin at the current market price, you would get an idea about this in the next few minutes. If I'm only looking at the Bitcoin chart, I would love to take a long position at the current market price, like at 108K, at 109K, because apparently you can see that price is just retesting this trend line, right? Price is just consolidating at this trend line. And if you would start drawing the daily trend lines on the Bitcoin chart, you would notice that there has hardly been any instance at which these trend line breakouts actually fail. Like there has hardly been any instance in which price would break above the trend line and eventually it would turn into a fake out and then price would just go back down. With the altcoin chart, it may be a slightly common thing, but with the Bitcoin chart, it may be a slightly It's not, in fact, but even with altcoins. And when you're talking about the daily time frame chart, not about the 4 hour time frame chart, because remember that on the 4 hour also this trend line would exist, right? On the 4 hour time frame chart as well, we have this trend line, but we're talking about the daily time frame chart. On the 4 hour time frame, it may look like a deviation above the trend line. Price would close a few 4 hour candles above trend line, and then it would eventually go back into this trend line, and you would say that, okay, this was a fake out. But when we talk about the daily time frame chart, a complete daily candle close basically would have, like, multiple 4 hour closes, 4 hour candle closes inside of it. This basically gives you more protection. This basically gives you more authenticity. This basically gives you better option or opinion that, okay, price is indeed giving a nice reaction at this trend line. So if I'm only looking at the Bitcoin chart, then I would definitely love to take a long position at 108,000, 109,000. The reason is because price had a break above the daily time frame trend line. We closed a daily candle above this trend line. We are retesting this trend line. Only a consolidation is happening, which is perfectly fine. Consolidations happen whenever price would break above the trend line, and it's a very common thing. Whenever price moves considerably in one direction, it would just continue to consolidate and then give you another move towards upside or towards downside. For example, in this case, you can see that we had a massive move from 98.2k all the way up to 108,000, and then we continued to consolidate in this around these levels for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then eventually we had a drop from 108k down to 104.8k, and then we had another move towards upside, and now we are simply just consolidating in this zone. So it's a very common thing. Most of us are used to of looking at the 1 hour time frame chart or on the 4 hour time frame chart. That is why we get a little bit frustrated. But in terms of reality, we have simply just consolidated around this zone for, like, maximum of 4 or 5 days. And in fact, if I show you the previous trend line breakout which we had after that 2nd of April Trump Liberation Day drama happened, in this case you can see that we had a break above the trend line, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it took almost 9 days for price to break out completely above or out of this consolidation zone. So this consolidation happened for 9 days. In this situation also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days before price moved considerably towards downside from 83,000 down to 75,000. In this case also, almost it took 9 days for price to move from 86 to 83 range all the way up to 94,000, which means that I would consider this a bullish consolidation. Once again, if I'm only looking at the Bitcoin chart, I would say that let's get into a position on Bitcoin at the current market price. If I'm absolutely confident, then I would have a slightly wide stop loss in this situation, a wider stop loss in this situation, and I would be targeting 116,000 and 120,000, right? 123,000 eventually, and that is based on the fib levels. For example, if you would draw the fib levels from the start of impulsive wave, and if you are wondering that why exactly this is the start of impulsive wave and not this one, then you can simply just go and watch my previous live streams, because I have explained all of these things in the last few updates. So if you would simply just draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, you can see that price perfectly retested. When the 100k retest happened, that was a retest at 61.8% fib level. I mean, you can see this for yourself how precise this was. Okay, this is 61.8% fib level, and price perfectly bounced at 61.8% fib level, and the next one was down to 70.5% fib level, right? Which means that this fib level is working. We are still in an uptrend on the Bitcoin chart. If you would reverse this chart, you can see that 127% level and 161.8% fib level, this should be a minimum target in this situation. So if I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart, I would say that let's get into a long position at the market price, and this is only just a bullish consolidation, and ultimately we are going to have a break towards upside, which might be something you would like to believe, because in fact, I personally think that there is a decent chance that this is simply just a bullish consolidation, and eventually we are going to see some sort of break towards upside. One thing that I would like to specifically point out is that the equal highs and equal lows on the higher time frame charts, they are very reliable and they hardly ever fail. Okay, and in this situation, the past two candles have been equal highs, which makes me think that, okay, this is a very important statement. which makes me think that there could be a move towards 106.5k. Okay, just because we have these two equal highs around here, and we know that equal highs, they are really really important. We had two equal highs around here as well. You can see that, which were taken out back on 3rd of July. We had two equal highs, and then eventually price moved from 108.6k all the way down to 98.2k, just because of these two equal highs. So please do not undermine the importance of equal highs and equal lows. This is something that I usually refer to as a simple man theory. If you would spot the equal highs, you would simply just take a short position. If you would spot the equal lows, you would simply just try to get into a long position. I mean, this is a very simple, easy to follow rule, right? But in this situation, if I would definitely not want to take any short position, but this is something which makes me feel that there could be a move towards 106.5k, because we have anchored VWAP, because we have this massive 4-hour support that price deviated below. Most people, they might be stuck in their short positions at that level. They would try to get out of their short positions. Most people would start getting into long positions at that price level. So it's going to be there is going to be a decent move from 106.5k. Okay, so this is my opinion based on the Bitcoin chart. Now let's take a quick look at the USDT dominance chart as well, because USDT dominance, we can see that has been trading around the very same levels for quite some time. During that last live stream, if you would go and watch that live stream, the whole idea was that how to take a long position, how to build a long position on Bitcoin once this retest happens. Okay, and indeed that was a very good opportunity. Okay, I explained in detail during that live stream that how you should be getting into a long position, because this was the first retest at the USDT dominance chart. Once again, the first retest is always your single best opportunity to get into a long or a short. So this was a very good opportunity to get into a long position on the Bitcoin chart, because not only Bitcoin was retesting anchored VWAP, but at the same time, USDT dominance was retesting this 4-hour resistance level. And we know that the retest of first resistance, or sorry, the first retest of support and resistance, that indeed is a very good opportunity. And by the way, 30 plus people are watching the live stream. Only 10 of you have liked it. I know we have a very small YouTube channel, but still I would really appreciate that if all of you are at least just able to like the live stream, maybe leave a nice comment, maybe just subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. This is the only thing I'm asking from you guys. Okay, this would really help grow the channel. This would really help grow the audience. And yeah, this is all I want from you. So in this case, we can see that we have this 4-hour resistance retest, which was indeed a very good opportunity, right? The second thing is that, and by the way, we did discuss this in the last live stream also, about the structure part. Okay, and this is where the things would actually get a little bit confusing, because the market structure on the USDT dominance chart is perfectly bullish, right? This is your change of character, this is your break of structure, and this is your major swing high, this is your major swing low, until and unless USDT dominance breaks below this level, breaks below this major swing low on the daily, closes a daily candle below this level, we are not completely out of the danger zone. And there is every possible chance that ultimately we would reclaim this resistance, retest, maybe a small rejection, and then we would simply just go back up. Okay, there is every possible chance that there is going to be a new lower low below 98.2k. Now, two very important things. The first one being that when this change of character happened, at that time I was a big supporter of the idea that there is going to be a new lower low on the Bitcoin chart. Okay, just to make things a little bit easy, when the 100.2k low happened and then price went all the way up to 109k, 110,000, at that time I was a big supporter of the idea that price should ultimately be going down below 102k, 100.2k, because the change of character has happened. The change of character has just happened on the USDT dominance chart. And one change of character is not followed by another change of character, right? Okay, there was no possibility that USDT dominance could have simply just broken below this level once again, because this would be one change of character, this would be another change of character. I was the big supporter of the idea that there will be a new low below 100.2k, okay, on the Bitcoin chart, because one change of character cannot be, or at least is not always followed by another change of character, it's a very uncommon sort of a thing, okay, which indeed happened to be the right thing. One change of character is almost always followed by at least one break of structure, okay. Now, the thing is that, yes, the USDT dominance chart is perfectly bullish right now, which means that there is every possibility that Bitcoin may have a new lower low below 98.2K, but at the same time, one change of character has been followed by one break of structure, okay. Now, there is no condition which says that this break of structure has to be followed by next break of structure, okay, and then the next break of structure has to be followed by another break of structure. Yes, one change of character is almost always followed by one break of structure, okay. That thing has already happened, which means that there is nothing which is stopping Bitcoin from breaking above 112,000, and there is nothing which is stopping USDT dominance from going back below this major swing low, okay. This is just a long-term scenario that I'm trying to explain to you, and you need to be mindful of this. And the best possible thing is that you need to simply just have these SR levels charted in your terminal, in your trading view terminal, in order to make the best possible decisions. One thing that I would like to specifically point out in this situation is the anchored VWAP. This is the same anchored VWAP that you would draw on the Bitcoin chart as well. On the USDT dominance chart, that is how you would draw the anchored VWAP. You can see that anchored VWAP is acting as a nice resistance level. And if you would draw it from this major swing low, let's see what exactly this is giving you. Yes, this is giving you a nice resistance level. So USDT dominance has been failing to simply just break above this level, has been simply just failing to reclaim this anchored VWAP, and Bitcoin is simply just bouncing at the anchored VWAP, okay. Now, if you're looking to position yourself into a long, anytime USDT dominance goes back up to this anchored VWAP, take a long position on Bitcoin. Anytime Bitcoin drops massively down, this anchored VWAP is once again going to serve as your guiding light, which would help you, build a long position, right? So apart from that, I would leave it completely, on you to decide where exactly you wish to take a long position. My personal belief or my personal gut feeling is that, there is a decent chance that we may have a big upside move from here, okay. This small period of consolidation is ultimately going to be followed by big breakout towards upside, in my personal opinion, okay. And this would require, okay, mind you, this would require USDT dominance breaking below this trend line. Now, we have this ascending trend lines. We know this thing about trend lines, that whenever there is an ascending trend line, price would eventually break below that trend line. Whenever you have a descending trend line, price would eventually break breakout of that trend line towards upside. So in this situation, since this is an ascending trend line, and the good part is that we have the first bounce, we have the second bounce, and we have this third bounce also, which happened back on 3rd of July with the rejection that happened at 110,000 on Bitcoin. So the formation of this trend line has been confirmed, which is a really good thing. And now we know that, how would you know if price is about to break below the trend line? Whenever the bounces are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So the first bounce was a big one. The second one was, yes, a big one. The third one is turning out to be a smaller one. The fourth one, if we go for that fourth bounce, then this would be confirmed that eventually we are going to have a break towards downside on this trend line. All right. So yeah, my gut feeling is that right now, if I just completely ignore these charts and everything, I would love to take a long position on Bitcoin. I would love to buy Bitcoin around here, because I believe that this is just a bullish consolidation period. If you want to be slightly cautious, you can wait for 106.5K, but there is a decent chance that this bullish consolidation is going to be something exactly similar to what we saw happen after that Liberation Day tariffs, right? In that situation also, we had a breakout above trend line, consolidation 86,000, 85,000, 84,000. Eventually we had a big breakout all the way up to 94,000, and then towards 112,000, 111,000, right? Price went on to create a new high. Price went on to create a new all-time high. So in this situation also, I believe that something similar is going to happen in this situation, in which we would just continue to consolidate here, maybe for like few hours, maybe for like few days, and then it's going to be followed by big breakout towards upside. All right, this is the update on the USDT dominance and the Bitcoin chart. Obviously, this this last statement would require USDT dominance to break below this level. And the reason why I believe that this break might be happening is because of this ascending trend line. Because we have this ascending trend line, so we know that eventually price has to break below that trend line, and time is running out. We are already moving in a very narrow compressed range, and this muted volatility is ultimately going to result in a big breakout. Okay, now you may argue that it may be towards downside, but yeah. Now let's take a look at the others.d chart. Also, this chart has been an absolutely frustrating thing to me. Has a big falling wedge pattern. Yes, it's moving in a downtrend, but at the same time it has this, once again, volatility compression. It's consolidating at this support because Bitcoin is not doing anything, and that is why others.d is also not doing anything. It's simply just consolidating in the same zone. Okay, but we do not have any more room left in this zone. Maybe a day or two, and ultimately you are going to see what's going to happen with altcoins. I would still bet that, I would still expect that a breakout towards upside is going to happen. Same conclusion you would draw if you're looking at the total 3 chart as well. We are sitting very close to resistance. We are sitting very close to this trend line. It's only a matter of time. We just need a small push from Bitcoin, and that's when the breakout is going to happen. In my opinion, it's going to be a big one. Okay, now over to you guys. If you have any questions, please make sure to let me know in the chat box. Thank you so much, David. Yes, sure, we would look into it. Thank you so much. Amnesia is asking, sorry if this has been asked, wondering, considering you have de-risked on ASA and ASR. I'm not sure about ASA. We only have ASR and ATA. Oh, okay, so you must be talking about ATA. But yeah, we have not de-risked FIO as of yet. You are asking, will we see another long? If not, are there any indications you're waiting on except 106.5K on Bitcoin? No, I'm not really waiting for any indications, to be honest, because altcoins, in my opinion, are looking in a good shape. We just need a small push from Bitcoin, and that's it. That's all we need. Total 3, you can see that is, sitting very close to this trend line. We have not seen any sort of candle close above this level, but ultimately that's going to happen, right? So altcoins, they're looking definitely bullish. Same is the case with others.d as well. You can see that we are sitting right at this trend line, just need one candle close, which has not happened so far. That's a big shame. But we just need one candle close, one daily candle close, and that's going to be a massive opportunity in terms of altcoins as well. So yeah, I'm just waiting for maybe a small push towards upside, a small daily candle close or something like that, maybe just a small hint. But apart from that, I don't really think that I'm waiting for anything. I am taking the long positions. We took 3-4 long positions past few days, and that is good enough in my opinion. ETH.D also, you can see that gave a nice retest at this support. I remember I was taking the class related to these indices back on Friday. I was telling my students that how this retest on Ethereum's dominance chart is going to be a good opportunity to get into ETH. And we can see that back on Friday, 4th of July, this retest happened around 6 p.m. And that was indeed a good opportunity, right? That this retest around here. So 2500, that was a good opportunity. So yeah, everything is looking good. Bitcoin is looking in good shape. USDT dominance is going for yet another retest of this trend line, which is going to be definitely not a good thing for USDT dominance. It's going to be a big thing for Bitcoin. But yeah, we would have to ultimately wait and see. One important thing, people have been talking about tariffs as well. Tariffs, I don't really think that the threat of tariffs is going to now impact the market in any way possible, because Trump just have been writing letters to different different countries about this tariff situation, saying that there is going to be maybe a 25% universal tariff rate or something like that. But market has started to realize that, and I was probably the first person to say that when those Liberation Day tariffs happened. I was probably the only person to say that first it's going to be a 30-day pause, then it's going to be 90-day, then it will be 180-day pause, and then it's simply just going to be a 365-day pause. Okay. And everybody has been asking the question, why exactly these trade deals are not happening. We were very close to having a trade deal with India, with Japan, with South Korea, but none of that has happened so far. With Vietnam, the trade deal happened, if I'm not wrong, but we have not seen any sort of paper on that trade deal. We have not seen any sort of details on that trade deal. So a lot many people have been asking why the trade deals are not happening. It's very simple. I have the same stance since the day one that things like trade deals are not easy, right? It takes years and years to negotiate these trade deals. UK was the first country, after these tariff situation. UK was the first of the countries to have a trade deal with the US, right? But most people have no idea that UK has been negotiating this trade deal since, I guess, 2016 or 2017, when Trump first came into power, right? So trade deals are not an easy thing, and you may have some sort of maybe agreements, uh, but yeah, trade deal, that's not really an easy thing to have. And this is exactly why market has realized this thing. The Trump taco effect is eventually materializing. We know that he is going to chicken out on everything, and that is why people are not paying any sort of attention to what he's saying about tariffs anymore. What fib levels are the most important to you? 65% and 70.5%. 65 and 75, I would say. 0.705 and 0.65. 𝗬coin price action from charts. Okay, let's take a look at 𝗬coin. What's the ticker for this one? Okay. Is it 𝗬coin or 𝗬coin? What's the symbol for this coin? Is your SEI limit still active? Yes, that limit is still active. Is it this coin you're talking about? So you think it's worth investing in altcoins right now? I'm not saying it's worth investing into altcoins. I'm saying that you may see some sort of a rally, something similar to what we saw happened during the first week of May, during the month of January, soon after November, right? Something similar, something on those lines. I believe that altcoins, they are not really going to be a good like investment. Okay, because when you say investment, then you would have to look at all of these charts in a long term, right? If we just take a look at the others.d chart, because I suppose that you would mainly be investing into some like some coins other than the top 10 coins, right? Then in that situation, you can see that others.d has been in a massive downtrend, right? So until and unless, and that downtrend is not really going to change because the major swing high is at 7.87%. So until and unless something like this happens, like a major breakout towards upside, reclaim of this level, then a reclaim of this level. So until and unless that happens, I don't really think that it would be a safe thing to invest into altcoins, because when we say the word investment, it basically means that we are investing for a long time, right? XRP long term looks really nice. Yes, XRP is indeed looking nice. But if you are looking to invest into XRP, I did share a complete detailed post. And David, you were asking about the market price entry. FIO coin, it's literally at the market price. It's literally at the entry point. If you wish to enter into this coin, you can just enter into this one, because you can see that it went up almost 6%. I have not taken any TP on this coin. It's still at the entry point. So if you wish, you can simply just take this position. Most of the times price would simply just go back down to the entry point in 99.99% cases. So I was talking about XRP, right? XRP. So as soon as XRP flips this level that I'm talking about, so as soon as XRP flips this level, that's when you are going to have the trend line breakout as well. And this is when I would like to get into XRP. Okay, so this is something that I'm waiting for XRP. XRP continue to trade above this level for like, from 29th of November. to 20th of May for like 7 months consecutively. It was trading above this level, so this is a big zone, this is a big accumulation zone. And I believe that once this breakout happens, it's going to be a good opportunity to get into XRP. Okay, but before that, since it's trading below major resistance level, I don't really think that it would be a good idea. It's 𝗏coin, one with the blue T, dude. Sorry about that. Okay, let's take a look at 𝗏coin. From what I see, the price action is not looking good on 𝗏coin. Okay, it's listed on BLOFIN as well. Let's take a look at 𝗏coin. First of all, let's do the obvious thing. Let's draw the SR levels. Dude, this is simply just trading below this resistance level. So if you are now, it's also trading around the all-time low, at least on BLOFIN, right? So that is why you need to be a little bit careful with this one, especially if you are holding this in spot. Let's draw the fib levels also, because this is something which is really useful whenever a coin is trading around its all-time high or all-time lows. If we use this fractal, which was indeed a successful one, but okay, the next bounce should have happened at 61% level. That was indeed a good opportunity. So this was your first opportunity to get into this coin. This one right here, you can see that. I would highlight this one. And then the second opportunity to get into this coin, or DC, or whatever you were doing at that time, was this one. So I would remove the fib levels, and these two were the good opportunities to get into the coin. For the first one, the bounce was almost 32%. For the second ones, there was a bounce of almost, again, a 32%, 36% bounce. But it's very important that price holds around this level right here I'm talking about, because this is 261.8, 265% fib level. That's a very, very important level, right? Because if we start breaking below this level, then price could go ultimately lower as well. Let's take a look at, let's compare it with Bitcoin chart. If we do that, yeah, that's a very critical level that price is sitting at. If it just fails to hold above this level, like if it breaks below this level, then that's going to be a really bad thing, because ultimately then it would go back down to this next support around this price level, right? So yeah, it's really important that price just continues to hold at this level. Apart from that, it's simply just a shit coin. I mean, it's only listed on a very handful of exchanges. Divine is saying, bro, someone even asked about 𝗏coin in the last live stream as well. Some scammers or what? No, I don't really think it's scammers. Like 𝗏coin might be something that people are actually interested in, but I don't really know about it, honestly. What do you think about Hype? Yes, Hype is a really good project, right? Like if you wish to invest into Hype for a long term in spot, then Hype is a really good project. But $29 is the price that you would like to buy Hype at. Okay, so $29 is something that I have been waiting for myself. In fact, I tried to get into a spot position exactly at $18 or $19. It gave a very bad front run at that time. And now I have simply just been waiting for price to drop back down to this level. Since this major swing high is intact, $29 is something where I would like to buy Hype at. Let's take a look at Fartcoin as well. I mean, no live stream is complete without an analysis on Fartcoin. People are always interested in it. This is something that I came up with a few days ago. This is something that I have been trying to do, like take a short position on Fartcoin. You can see that because of the market structure change, I'm thinking about taking a short position on Fartcoin. If we reverse this level, sorry, then 61%, yeah, that was a good opportunity indeed. 61%, 65% retest happened. We missed that one, But yeah, that was a very good opportunity. But basically, this is giving you the idea that change of character happened here. Okay, this was a change of character. And if you would draw the fib levels, you can see that price is just getting rejected at 61%, 65% fib level, which basically shows you that we are essentially in a downtrend. And this uptrend is no longer valid now. Okay, you have the impulsive wave, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, and now this change of character happened, and it's essentially going to look something like this: impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective. It's simply just going to go down like this. Okay, now once again, a very far-fetched idea, but I have been trying to take this short position. Like, this is something that I have been planning on. Ava AI. I absolutely hate that coin. I have tried to build a position on that coin at least at 2 different occasions. But yeah, that is literally a shit coin. Always going against. So yeah, sitting at a massive support level, right? But this was the first retest, okay, which was a successful one. The first retest, you can see that this first retest could have given you almost a 26% move. There was this rejection as well. You can see that the first retest rejection, it gave you almost a 12% move. But yeah, I'm actually scared of this coin. I'm not really planning to take any position on this coin. And apart from that, because it's a big downtrend, like impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, and impulsive wave and corrective wave. If you would draw the fib level, let's see where the rejection happened. Yes, that's what I was thinking about: 61%, 68%. So that too was a very good shorting opportunity. And because of that, ultimately it's going to create a new lower low, right? Avaya, it's going to create a new lower low because it's in a very strong downtrend, very persistent downtrend. So until and unless it gives you a change of character, breaking above this major swing high, you cannot really take a long position, or maybe just it just gives you another break of structure and then you can take a short position on it. Have you taken a look at 𝗠IE? No, I have not done that, but we have a spot position on 𝗠IE. It reclaimed this small support level, has a trend line breakout. So yeah, it's just consolidating just like every other altcoin. It's simply just moving in the same range. And that is where, I had a spot position open on 𝗠IE, but yeah, this is my position on 𝗠IE right now. But that is a spot position, right? I did not take any position in futures on 𝗠IE. Ronin, let's take a look at Ronin as well, because Ronin seems like a nice name. And that's a clear downtrend. That is a clear downtrend. You can see that you have a resistance, and that was a good opportunity to get into a short position. This one right here, and then the second one as well. Now, I don't exactly know what I should be saying on this one because price is just moving in a downtrend. You can see that 61% perfect rejection happened. So price is just moving in a downtrend. You have impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive wave. This is your break of structure, and this is your major swing high. This is your major swing low. And it's not, honestly, it's not looking in a good shape because on the daily time frame chart it looks absolutely cooked until and unless price breaks and closes above this major swing high. Very simple. What do you think about Cookie? Yes, I absolutely love cookies. Resolve had a lot of hype around it because of the stable coin narrative. I haven't really looked at it because it's a newly listed coin and very common pattern with the newly listed coins. I'm simply just gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna look at it. But let's take a look at Cookie. It's an interesting coin. It usually respects all the SR levels. Cookie. Yeah, this was a long position that I had on Cookie. Magic USD. Wow, Magic is going up. It was expected. Now, because this one has a big change of character, you can see that this is, sorry, this is your change of character. So it was expected that price is gonna pump from here. Price is gonna go up from here. 70% level, 65%, somewhere around those levels, it's gonna pump up. Okay, so we were talking about cookie USDT. So cookie is sitting at the support level, right? Uh, let's draw the market structure as well. This was your change of, not exactly a change of character, but yeah, if you would draw the fib levels, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, 70% level, that just like the magic chart that I showed you, that was a decent opportunity. But still, because we are sitting at 70.5% fib level, if you want, you can have long position here, and that's going to be a very tight stop loss. Remember that, because we already have bounced at this level 4 or 5 times. So do not take any risk. Just place your limits at right at this support level, and if if you can, just try to avoid this coin, because price already has given a massive move. It's a very common pattern. Price would give a massive move in one direction, and then it would just form this Burj Khalifa pattern. It's a very common one. Okay, it's going up. Another meme coin, right? Any coins or positions you're extremely bullish on except BTC. And Ethereum is a good choice in my opinion, Ethereum. But apart from that, I don't really have any specific one in my mind right now. ENA when you have some time. Okay, let's take a look at ENA. I know about a live streamer who charges $10 for charting these coins. And by the way, 30 plus people are watching the live stream. Only a few of you have liked it. I would really appreciate if you are just able to like the live stream and subscribe to the YouTube channel. This would really help the channel grow. Okay, let's talk about ENA. ENA has been a dead coin for quite some time, although it's a good project, Ethereum name service. But so is the case with almost all the coins in the Ethereum ecosystem, right? Almost all of the coins in the ecosystem are behaving the very same way. Yeah, it's sitting at the support level. We have seen massive retests of this support, multiple retests of this support. This was a massive deviation below the support. So, the best RR you would get if you're bullish on the project, or if you really want to build a position, I would suggest going in spot. If you really wish to do that, just forget about anything. That's when you're going to get the best possible risk to reward ratio, because we are sitting right at the support level, and there is no better opportunity, because if it starts breaking below that level, you wouldn't really want to buy ENA. Now that that has happened, now that it's sitting at the support level, this is where you're going to get the best possible RR. Okay, so sometimes it's about RR only. Okay, sometimes it's just about the risk to reward ratio. If you're after risk to reward ratio, then this is where you would like to buy ENA. Let's take a look at FPT. FPT used to be a big deal, big AI coin back a year or two ago, but after the merger, that coin has absolutely been shit. I mean, what was the name of the AI project? What's the name of the most famous AI project? I just forgot the name. Hype and that coin have outperformed the rest of the market, like in the past 1 year or so. What's the most famous AI coin right now? Please let me know in the chat box. I forgot the name of it. No, definitely not 𝗖𝗿𝗄𝗃. I mean, it's a very famous name. 𝗨, yeah, 𝗨. So, 𝗨 and Hype have been two projects that have actually outperformed the rest of the market. I was looking at the spaghetti chart, and these two coins have outperformed the rest of the market in terms of returns. Yeah, WLD is good, but yeah, Tau is a much better option. But stay away from FET, I would say that. The last time I did the analysis on FET during a live stream, it was trading somewhere around here. I mentioned that you should be taking a long on it when it reclaims this level, and you can see that the reclaim never happened. But apart from that, the structure flip has happened, by the way. This is an interesting thing. The structure flip has happened. This was your change of character, right? And because this was a change of character, this was your major swing low, this is your major swing high. Like, even if you would draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, yeah, I mean, that's a very good opportunity. That was a very good opportunity to get into uh FVT. You can see that price perfectly bounced at 61%. I usually, whenever I draw the fib levels, I usually take a long at 65%, and I place the stop loss slightly below the 78%. So yeah, you can see that that was a good opportunity. But I would stay away from this coin. This is not the coin that I like to trade. But yeah, the good part here is that the change of character has happened. Price is indeed reacting to these levels, and that's a good thing. We could spot all the good opportunities you are showing now. Yeah, that is actually the irony of it. I mean, we talk about all of these good opportunities, but it's never really possible to, uh, grab all of these opportunities to get into all of these coins at the same time. I mean, it's not realistically possible for anyone to do. I mean, even if you have a system, and I have done this in the past, even if you have a system based on which you are getting the alerts that you should be taking a long or a short, sometimes because the system is good, and I have one such system which gave me a few alerts back on 2nd of July around 5 a.m. And all of those coins ended up being in top gainers. But that system gave me at that time almost 20 plus alerts. But again, it was not realistically possible to get into all of these 20 plus coins at the same time. And this is why, trading is a bit of a difficult thing. It's hard because, all of these challenges you have to face on day-to-day basis. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining in. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Once again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do that. Please make sure to like the live stream. If you're not following me over Twitter, will we expect a signal today? Amnesia is asking. Yes, for those of you who are in the Discord server, I would try my best to drop another long position. I was saying that if you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗨𝘅𝗿𝗏, this is my Twitter handle. Make sure to do that. I occasionally post market updates and calls over my Twitter account as well. And finally, if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can join in the Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video. And please make sure to check out BITUNIX and BLOFIN as well, our partner exchanges. Both of these exchanges are the only two that we promote, that we endorse, and the links you can find in the description of this video. And if you would register, by the way, both of these exchanges are non-KYC exchanges. If you would register on any of these exchanges, then you can have a free 15-day premium of 𝗨𝗃𝗀 as well. Thank you so much. Take care and have a great week ahead. Thank you.